The Joe Rogan Experience.
So I've been trying to investigate the different types of Bionicle masks, as well as their powers that are contained within. Could you provide some insight into the various types of masks that were found on Mata Nui?
Certainly, Joseph. Okay, so first we have the Great Kanohi masks of power. These are the 6 masks that the Toa come with, and each Kanohi has their own specific power.
Like Tahu's How mask, the mask of shielding. And how exactly does that work anyway?
Well, the wearer of the mask of shielding can generate a small force field around themselves, which is typically used for protecting the Toa from falling debris or projectile attacks.
Oh, okay, that's fascinating. And what are the powers of the other Kanohi masks?
Well, there's Onua's Pakari mask, the mask of strength, which grants the user the capability of a gigachad. Similarly, Pohatu's Kakama mask, the mask of speed, allows the user to move way faster.
That's cool. So far I'm digging these powers. What about Liwa? What does his mask do?
Lewa has the Miru mask, which is the mask of levitation.
Okay, that one's probably my favorite. I would love having the ability to levitate around everywhere. It sounds pretty overpowered, though.
Well, he doesn't just gain flight from a standing position. The Miru mask relies on using the power of the wind to help the user float on the air. It's still hella useful, though, and that comes in handy a lot when you're about to get murked.
True. I also really liked Gali's mask, since it looks like a scuba mask. What was her mask called again?
Gali had a cow mask, and it literally was a scuba mask, just like you said, the mask of underwater breathing. I like that mask as well, but I think my personal favorite might be Kopaka's Akaku mask, which is the mask of X-ray vision. With this Kanohi, the user can see through solid materials, as well as see in the darkness.
Yeah, his mask's hella practical, and looks really cool too. It reminds me of that thing you look through at the optometrist. So, I noticed that the Mictoran also wear these same masks. Do they also have access to these same powers?
Well, although they also wear Kanohi masks, theirs are powerless. Only the Toa can take advantage of the Kanohi's abilities.
Oh, so are the Mictoran's masks entirely aesthetic?
Well, the Matoran actually needed to wear a mask in order to function, as they would be very weak without them. The mask essentially gives them energy to sustain life.
Interesting. Is that the case with the Rahi as well? A lot of them have a mask somewhere on their body, sometimes right on their butt cheek.
With the Rahi, the masks on their bodies are typically a method of control used by Makuta. You see, when the Toa knock off the Rahi's masks during a battle, the Rahi usually become quite powerless after losing their mask. In some instances, Makuta has even given some Rahi an infected Kanohi, such as Muaka and Kahne Ra.
Oh, that's actually pretty badass. The infected Kanohi has me intrigued. How many masks were infected like this?
There's only an infected How mask, and it could only be found in that Rahi set, or sometimes very rarely found in a Kanohi mask pack as well. What's sick is that the brown streaks on the mask were hand-painted, so that makes each mask slightly unique.
Dude, I like that. It's like a little work of art. I would totally want to get one for my collection. Also, what about the golden versions of these masks? What was their purpose?
So, the golden Kanohi masks contained the powers of all 6 great Kanohi, and they were obtained by the Toa when each of them collected all of their respective great masks. When the Toa placed their collected masks on statues of themselves at the temple of Kin Nui, they received a gold mask in exchange and then used them to access all of their collected powers.
Okay, and were the silver versions of the mask a similar concept?
Although the silver versions of the mask were not featured in the main storyline, they theoretically contain the powers of 3 Toa and could be used by the 2 Kaida beings.
Oh, word. That's cool, man. I always liked those Kaida beings. Each of them were a gigachad. So how about the Turaga? Their masks also had powers as well, right?
Yes, that's correct. So their masks were called the Noble Kanohi masks, and they were typically only worn by the Turaga. The powers of these masks were characteristically mental powers, while the Great Kanohi worn by the Toa were physical powers. There was the Komau, mask of mind control, the Matatu, the mask of telekinesis, the Mahiki, the mask of illusion, the Rao mask of translation, Ruru mask of night vision, and lastly, the Huna mask of concealment.
Okay, that's pretty sick. I had no idea how much power lied behind the masks of the Turaga. And can the Toa also wear the noble Kanohi and take advantage of their abilities?
Yes, the Toa can wear the noble masks as well. So another special type of mask that was available during this time were the copper masks of victory. These masks were not meant to be worn, but instead used for ceremonial purposes, such as an award for Matoran sporting events.
It's interesting how these masks actually held cultural significance for the Mictoran people. But how were these masks obtained? Like, I don't remember seeing them featured in any sets.
Well, they were only distributed through various promotional means. There were only two kinds of copper masks produced, the noble Huna, which was more common, and the noble Komau. They were first given away at Legoland parks in Europe, but the copper Huna was also given away at Toys R Us during a promotion shortly after the launch of Bionicle in 2001.
Dude, that's sick. I miss when Toys R Us had awesome exclusive Lego items. Man, I wish they still did cool giveaways like this.
Oh, me too, Joseph. I mean, currently, Toys R Us still does Bricktober here in Canada, but it's usually nothing noteworthy, though. But another interesting item that Toys R Us distributed back in the day was this really nice fabric Bionicle mask case, which contained little pockets to display every color of collectible Kanohi mask. Isn't this case exquisite?
It's beautiful, Jordan. I've actually never seen this case before. I like how it's similar to those binders for trading cards, but it instead has pockets that are sized to fit the masks. I would totally get one of these, if the price is right.
Oh, hell yeah. Scoop it up if you spot a deal on that Gucci pouch.
Oh, for sure. Anyways, wow, man. We covered a lot of different types of masks. Great Kanohi, Infected Kanohi, Noble masks. Were there any more mask types that we're missing?
Well, for the 2001 Bionicle stuff, the only one left that we didn't yet discuss is the legendary Vahi, the Mask of Time. What's fascinating is that this was apparently the very first mask design created by the Bionicle designer team and was meant to be an included item in the canceled PC Bionicle game.
What? Canceled? Why was the game canceled? Why would they do that?
Well, that's a topic for another discussion, Joseph.
No, tell me now. Tell me before I get mad.
Okay, well, I can tell you in the next video.